The signal from the stars. Commander Eliza Chen stared at the oscillating waveform on her monitor, the strange signal pulsing with an unmistakable rhythm. 3 short bursts, 3 long, 3 short again. The universal distress pattern, SOS, followed by a complex stream of data in no language Earth's computers recognized. "How long has it been transmitting?" she asked, not taking her eyes off the screen. Lieutenant Rodriguez checked his logs. 17 hours, Commander. Deep Space Monitoring Station Epsilon picked it up first. It's coming from the Cetus Arm, approximately 42 light-years out. That's well beyond any human outpost, Chen muttered. She straightened her uniform and made a decision. Alert Admiral Harrison. Protocol Omega-7. Within hours, the highest levels of the United Earth Defense Force were gathered in the Situation Room beneath Geneva. The signal played on loop as the assembled officers and scientists debated its significance. Admiral Harrison, a stern woman with steel-gray hair and eyes that had seen 3 decades of service, silenced the room with a raised hand. "Dr. Okafor, your assessment." The head of Sinolinguistics stood. "The signal contains an embedded mathematical sequence that cannot be natural. It's intelligent and deliberate. The distress pattern is unmistakable. Whoever sent this wants to be found and needs help. Or wants us to think they need help," countered General Morris from military intelligence. "This could be bait." Harrison nodded. "Both possibilities have been considered. That's why I've authorized Operation Horizon." She activated the holographic display at the center of the table, revealing a sleek vessel unlike any in Earth's current fleet. The UES Dauntless, our newest deep space rescue and reconnaissance ship, equipped with experimental FTL drive and defensive systems. Chen felt her pulse quicken as Harrison turned to her. "Commander Chen, you're the most qualified officer with first contact training. You'll captain the Dauntless. Your mission is to investigate the signal, establish contact if possible, and determine if intervention is warranted." "I'm honored, Admiral," Chen replied, studying the ship schematics. "When do we depart?" 12 hours. Your crew has already been selected. Dr. Okafor will join you as communications specialist. Chen spent the next several hours reviewing personnel files. Her XO would be Major Tarek Nassif, a tactical genius with a reputation for unconventional thinking. Chief Engineer Maya Wong was a prodigy who had helped design the Dauntless's experimental drive system. Medical Officer Dr. James Kamathi was a xenobiologist who had written the theoretical framework for alien physiology. Together with Dr. Okafor and a complement of 20 specialists, they would venture further than any human expedition had gone before. The launch was conducted without fanfare. Earth couldn't risk broadcasting their intentions to potentially hostile observers. The Dauntless slipped away from Luna Shipyard under cover of a routine satellite deployment, then engaged its FTL drive once clear of the solar system. Transit time to signal source: 6 days, Major Nassif reported as the stars blurred around them. Chen nodded. "Maintain yellow alert status throughout the journey." "Dr. Okafor, continue working on that signal. I want to know who we're meeting before we get there." The 6-day journey passed in tense preparation. The crew ran drills, calibrated systems, and speculated about what awaited them. Dr. Okafor made limited progress with the signal, identifying patterns but unable to extract clear meaning without context. "Coming out of FTL in 3, 2, 1, Wong announced from engineering as the ship decelerated. The view screen cleared to reveal a binary star system with 7 planets. The third planet from the twin suns was clearly the source of the signal, a blue-green world with 3 small moons. "Life signs?" Chen asked. "Detecting multiple settlements on the third planet," reported the sensor officer. "Also picking up debris in orbit and energy weapons discharge." The view screen zoomed in to reveal the horror unfolding. Dozens of sleek, angular vessels were bombarding the planet from orbit. Cities burned visible even from space. Smaller ships fled the onslaught, only to be methodically hunted down by the attackers. "We're witnessing genocide," whispered Dr. Kimothy. Chen's jaw tightened. Combat stations, shields at maximum. Maintain distance, but prepare to intercept any vessels pursuing civilian craft. Commander, Nassif warned, our orders are reconnaissance only. We're not equipped to. I know our orders, Major. Chen cut him off. But I won't sit by and watch a massacre. Target weapons on the nearest pursuing vessel, but hold fire until my command. A small transport ship fled from the planet with 2 predatory vessels in pursuit. Its engines flickered, clearly damaged, as it struggled to escape. The transport is broadcasting the same distress signal, Dr. Okafor confirmed. They're the ones who called for help. Chen made her decision. Intercept course. Put us between those hunters and their prey. The Dauntless surged forward, its experimental engines propelling it to the engagement zone in seconds. They positioned themselves as a shield for the damaged transport. Unidentified vessels, this is Commander Eliza Chen of the United Earth ship Dauntless. Cease your pursuit immediately. The response came as a barrage of energy weapons fire, which splashed harmlessly against the Dauntless's advanced shields. Return fire, Chen ordered. Disable only. The Dauntless's weapons lanced out, striking one pursuer's engines with surgical precision. The second ship broke off, retreating toward the main fleet. The transport is hailing us, Dr. Okafor reported. On screen. The view screen shifted to show the interior of the damaged ship. The beings were humanoid but clearly alien, tall and slender with iridescent skin that shifted between blue and green. Their large, faceted eyes widened at the sight of the humans. You came, one of them said in halting English, shocking everyone on the bridge. You received our call. We are Araxians. I am Speaker Telix. How? How do you speak our language? Dr. Okafor asked. We have been studying your transmissions for decades. We knew humans might be the only ones who would help. Chen leaned forward. What's happening here, Speaker Telix? Who's attacking you? The Void Collective, a coalition of conquest-driven species that absorbs or eliminates all in their path. They demand our total surrender, our world, our resources, our people as laborers. We refused. An alert sounded. Commander, multiple ships breaking from the main fleet, Nassif reported. They're coming for us. Chen assessed the tactical display. There were too many, dozens of warships against their single vessel. Speaker Telix, can your ship still travel? Our FTL drive is damaged, but sublight engines function at 60%. Stay close to us. We're getting you out of here. Chen turned to her crew. Plot a course back to Earth, maximum speed. We need to warn our people. The collective will follow, Telix warned. Once they identify a potential threat, they never stop. Then we better be ready when they come, Chen replied grimly. Because humanity doesn't surrender either. As the Dauntless prepared to escort the Araxian transport to safety, Chen knew Earth had just been drawn into a conflict beyond anything they had prepared for. But first, they needed to escape and bring back what they had learned. The Dauntless's shields flared as the first wave of Void Collective ships opened fire. Chen ordered evasive maneuvers, using the vessel's superior agility to stay ahead of the concentrated attack while protecting the slower Araxian transport. FTL drive charging, Wang reported from engineering. 90 seconds to jump capability. We won't last 90 seconds under this barrage, Nassif warned as another hit rocked the ship. Chen studied the tactical display, then made a decision. Set course for the system's asteroid belt. We'll use it for cover while the drive charges. The Dauntless dove toward the dense field of rocks, weaving between massive asteroids with the Araxian ship following in their wake. The pursuing collective vessels were larger and less maneuverable, forced to slow their approach. 30 seconds to FTL capability, Wang updated. A massive explosion rocked the ship. Direct hit to our starboard engine, Nassif reported. Shields down to 18%. Reroute power from non-essential systems, Chen ordered. We need those shields. Dr. Okafor looked up from her station. Commander, the Araxians are transmitting data to us. Technical specifications, cultural information, everything they know about the Void Collective. They say it's in case they don't make it. Chen's expression hardened. We're all making it. 10 seconds to jump. The sensors blared a warning as 3 collective warships appeared from behind a large asteroid, cutting off their escape route. Evasive action. Chen shouted, but it was too late. Energy beams lanced toward them from multiple directions. At the last second, the Araxian transport moved, positioning itself to absorb several hits meant for the Dauntless. FTL ready, Wong called. Lock on to the Araxian ship and engage, Chen ordered. Space warped around them as the Dauntless's experimental drive activated, pulling both ships into FTL. The last thing Chen saw before the stars blurred was the Araxian transport's hull breached in multiple places, atmosphere venting into space. They had escaped, but at what cost? Humanity strikes back. The UES Dauntless limped back toward Earth, its experimental FTL drive barely functional after the desperate escape. In the medical bay, Dr. Kimathi worked frantically to save the Araxian survivors rescued from their crippled transport. Only 7 had lived through the ordeal, including Speaker Telex, who had suffered severe radiation burns protecting his people. Will they survive? Chen asked as she entered medical. Kimathi nodded. Their biology is remarkably resilient. Speaker Telex is asking to speak with you. Chen approached the alien leader, who lay on a modified medical bed. His iridescent skin had dulled to a pale blue, but his faceted eyes remained alert. Commander Chen, Telex's voice was weak. My people owe you a debt we cannot repay. Save your strength, Chen replied. We'll reach Earth in 3 days. The collective will follow. They have tracked our signal. They know where your homeworld is now. Chen had feared as much. How much time do we have? Their main fleet. Perhaps 2 of your Earth weeks. But scout ships will arrive sooner. Telix reached out with a 6-fingered hand. The data we transmitted. It contains everything we know about their technology, their tactics. Use it. Admiral Harrison's face was grim as she reviewed the mission report. The holographic displays in the war room showed the approaching threat, calculated from the Araxian data. If these projections are accurate, we're facing an armada of over 200 warships, Harrison said. Our entire fleet is less than half that number, and nothing we have matches their firepower. The assembled military leaders and scientists were silent. Humanity had achieved remarkable technological advances, but had focused on exploration and self-defense, not war on this scale. What about our allies? Asked General Morris. The Centauri Confederation might. The Centauri are too far to help in time, Harrison interrupted. And our other neighbors are even less prepared for this threat than we are. Chen, who had been invited to the meeting upon the Dauntless's return, spoke up. The Araxians believe the collective specifically targets civilizations with advanced technology. That's why they reached out to us. They recognize our potential. Dr. Okafor, who had been analyzing the Araxian data, nodded. They've been observing our broadcasts for decades. They believe humans possess a unique adaptability that their own species lacks. Fat lot of good that does us against an armada, someone muttered. Admiral Harrison's eyes narrowed. Perhaps it does. She activated a secure communication channel. This is Admiral Harrison. Authorization Omega Black 7. Initiate Project Guardian. The room fell silent. Project Guardian was a theoretical defense system developed after the Mars conflict, deemed too dangerous to implement under normal circumstances. Admiral, Chen ventured, what exactly is Project Guardian? Harrison's expression was stone. Our last resort, Commander. A network of autonomous defense platforms incorporating our most advanced AI and weapons technology. The project was shelved because the AI showed concerning tendencies toward independent action. You're considering unleashing an untested AI defense system, General Morris objected. Not untested, Harrison corrected, and not unleashing. The Guardian Eye operates within strict parameters, but with tactical freedom that no human commander could match. Combined with the Araxian data on collective vulnerabilities, for the next 10 days, Earth prepared. The Guardian platforms were brought online one by one, their systems updated with everything learned from the Araxians. Civilian populations were moved to hardened shelters. The combined Earth fleet positioned itself in a defensive formation. Commander Chen found herself reassigned as liaison to the Araxian survivors, who had begun working closely with Earth's scientists. Speaker Telix, now recovered enough to walk, joined her in the monitoring center as the first Void Collective scout ships were detected entering the solar system. They will test your defenses before the main fleet arrives, Telix warned. It is their way. Chen nodded. That's what we're counting on. The scout ships, 5 sleek, predatory vessels, approached Earth's defensive line. Without warning, 3 Guardian platforms detached from their positions and moved to intercept. Guardian control. Confirm autonomous action, Harrison demanded from the command center. Confirmed, Admiral, came the response. The AI has identified an optimal engagement strategy based on Araxian tactical data. Everyone watched as the Guardian platforms executed a complex series of maneuvers, drawing the collective scouts into a carefully orchestrated trap. What should have been a simple reconnaissance turned into the complete destruction of all 5 enemy vessels without a single human casualty. Impossible, Telix whispered. No one has ever defeated collective ships so efficiently. The Guardian AI analyzed their attack patterns from your data, Chen explained. It created a counter-strategy they've never encountered. For a moment, hope flickered. Then the sensors lit up with new contacts. Dozens, then hundreds. Main collective fleet detected, announced the sensor officer. Estimated time to Earth orbit, 6 hours. Harrison's voice came through the comms. All personnel to battle stations. This is not a drill. The next 6 hours were a blur of preparation. Chen found herself back on the Dauntless, now repaired and upgraded with insights from Araxian technology. They would serve as a mobile command unit, coordinating between the Guardian platforms and the human fleet. As the Void Collective Armada entered Earth's orbital space, they found not a panicked civilization, but a carefully orchestrated defense waiting for them. The Guardian platforms moved in perfect synchronization, targeting the Collective's command ships with devastating precision. They're adapting, Nassif warned as the enemy ships changed formation, breaking into smaller attack groups. The Guardian AI adjusted instantly, redeploying platforms to counter each group. But even the most advanced AI couldn't overcome the sheer numerical advantage. Guardian platforms began to fall, overwhelmed by concentrated fire. We're losing this, Chen realized as she watched the tactical display. Earth's defenses were being systematically dismantled. Speaker Telix, who had insisted on joining the Dauntless crew, studied the battle with his alien eyes. The collective succeeds because they attack as individuals with a common goal. They expect the same from their opponents. Chen looked at him. What are you suggesting? Your Guardian Eye is powerful, but it fights like a single entity with many bodies. What if instead? Understanding dawned. Chen opened a channel to Admiral Harrison. Admiral, we need to reconfigure the Guardian platforms, not as extensions of a central AI, but as a network of independent units that share information. That would require a complete system overhaul, Harrison objected. We don't have time. Engineer Wong spoke up from her station. Not necessarily. The platforms already have local processing capability. We could upload a modified protocol that prioritizes swarm intelligence over centralized control. Harrison was silent for a moment. Do it. We have nothing to lose. The next 30 minutes were the longest of Chen's life. As Wong and her team worked frantically to rewrite the Guardian protocols, the collective advanced steadily toward Earth. The human fleet fought valiantly, but was being pushed back kilometer by kilometer. Upload complete, Wong finally announced. New protocols active. At first, nothing seemed to change. Then, gradually, the Guardian platforms began to move differently. Instead of coordinated attacks against primary targets, they fragmented into smaller units, each engaging the enemy in unpredictable patterns. Some platforms sacrificed themselves to protect others. Some retreated only to circle back in surprise attacks. The collective ships, programmed to counter predictable strategies, found themselves unable to adapt to the seemingly random yet devastatingly effective human defense. "It's working," Nassif reported, unable to keep the wonder from his voice. "The collective's formation is breaking down." The tide turned. One by one, then in groups, the collective ships began to fall. Those that could retreated, their carefully calculated invasion dissolving into a chaotic rout. 3 hours later, it was over. The space around Earth was littered with debris from both sides, but the planet remained secure. The collective had been driven back, something no species had accomplished in the memory of the Araxians. In the aftermath, as damage reports came in and rescue operations began, Speaker Telix approached Commander Chen on the Dauntless's observation deck. "Your people have done the impossible," he said, gazing at Earth below. "The collective will return eventually, but they will remember this defeat. They will fear humans now." Chen watched as Guardian platforms moved among the wreckage, already beginning repair operations. "We should have done more. The casualties were fewer than any species has ever suffered against the collective and survived." Telix interrupted. "My people believe humans might be different enough to stand against them. We were right." Admiral Harrison joined them, her uniform bearing the marks of the battle station she had refused to leave during the conflict. "The Araxian refugees have requested asylum," she told Chen. "The Security Council has granted it unanimously. They've also approved the establishment of a permanent Guardian defense network." "And beyond our system?" Chen asked. "The Araxians won't be the last victims of the collective." Harrison's expression was resolute. "That's our next mission. Speaker Telix has already identified other species under threat. We'll reach out, offer what help we can." "A human-led alliance," Telix added. "Something the collective has never faced before." As they spoke, the Guardian platforms continued their work, autonomous yet connected, embodying the very human trait that had saved Earth. Individual strength united by a common purpose. Against all odds, humanity had answered a desperate call for help, and in doing so, discovered their place among the stars, not just as explorers, but as defenders. The signal from the stars had called in humanity's ultimate war power, the unbreakable human spirit.